Hello. Welcome to the first episode of FPL War 2022-23 season. I'm Stel. I've got Double D here with me. I can't even get my words out, so I need to put my teeth on Double D. It happens quite frequently these days. It must be the old age, bruv. I'm telling you. It must be what it is. How you doing, brother? You all right?
Your life's just started, mate.
Oh, yeah, you say that.
I'm all right.
Jesus.
I'm all right. The usual pre-season stress as usual with FPL. I don't think we've had enough of a break, to be honest. It did my head in towards the back end of last season. But with this damn World Cup in Qatar, season starts earlier. But a few differences this season, so we'll see. You get unlimited transfers during the World Cup. So that's like having another wild card. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be absolute mayhem, carnage, as Jim Ross would say.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's going to be mad because with the 5 subs and the rotation that's going to go on, because I think it's 16 game weeks before the World Cup, so you're going to get 22 after. So there's going to be a lot of rotation. There's going to be some weeks where you might only have 5 or 6 of the players in your 11 actually start, and then they might come off the bench for 20 minutes or half an hour with it being 5 subs now. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah, that's right. And how did you get on last season? Are you happy with your end result?
I think it was 2,415 points I got, which put me in at like, I think it was a top 3%, about 260,000 position in the world or something like that. But as usual, I have that hot. I don't seem to finish well with FPL. I usually start off really well. Then in the middle, inconsistent scores, and at the back end of the season, because some teams will change up because they're not playing for anything, I get caught out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we've got my money league as well, which of course that you're in. I got beat by about 8 points or something like that by D-Man.
Who won it anyway?
Muji.
Okay.
My boy Muji, who's a friend of a guy Karam. They're both in the Liverpool WhatsApp group with me. Muji won it. Sam was second.
Big Sam, wow.
Big Sam was second. Goodness. And Muji and Sam are usually mid-table in my money league, so I don't know what happened last season. And who was third? Karam was third, Muji's mate. Or their best mates. And then D-Man, as I said, got 4th place from me by a few points. We both lost on the last day in the head-to-head, but he had 8 points. We were level on points, but he had 8 points. 8 classic points, traditional points more than me. So goal difference, yeah, he nicked 4th from me. So it's going to be interesting this season. The pot's gone up.
Yeah, it has.
It's going to be pure chaos.
Well, do you know what? To be honest, last season was the first time in many years where I actually took it relatively serious. And I think that's because of the league, not because of the money situation, but because for the banter, just to listen to your show every Saturday morning. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I need to get a victory over D-Man this season. I have to. I can't be listening to the D&D Footy Factory every Saturday morning and then hearing him talking about this and that. No, I'm not having it.
And that got coach involved as well. Coaches got involved in the head-to-head league now because they're like, why? Because, and it's the truth, because I even say it on the show as well. Back when I was running a mock, you would hear no FPL talk. Then once he crept up the table and then became top of the table in every league he was in, suddenly an FPL intro comes on the Footy on Top show. And
he's the hype man, isn't he?
And sometimes it takes as long as 10 minutes. So then you wonder why we've not got time to do other topics, because you're posting about every league that you're top of and telling us about your top of this person and that person that nobody knows apart from you. You know what I'm saying? So you get me? So obviously it's going to limit the time, innit?
Oh, mate. I'll tell you what, though. I've got to give it to the guy, right?
That's my guy,
if you need someone to sell fucking ice to an Eskimo, he's your man. Because he can promote the fuck out of this league just by winding people up with his talk every week. Jesus. Jesus, well, it's fucking brilliant, man. But
Man, but Sam bottled it though. Sam bottled it.
did he?
He was top for a long time, and he was far ahead.
Well, I was looking up most of the time anyway, so
You
but,
always.
but
This is what you have to realize, is that you have to balance looking at your opponent's team to try oust them. Obviously, if they use a bonus chip, you're not going to know what's going on. So to oust them, but also as well look at to balance it with what other people are doing in your classic scoring leagues as well. Because obviously, I know you set out to get more points than the likes of Rodri and Steve and that, and he did it. Or did you? Or did you have more? I think you got more than Steve. I know you got more than Rodri, but I think you got more than Steve.
I ended up third in our table, so the third out of 5. So I beat Steve and I beat Rodri. Rodri ended up bottom, and I tell you what, that was one of my favourite moments in FPL history, because up until December, all I heard was Rodri in the WhatsApp group sending me wooden spoon emojis and all that kind of shit. You're way behind there, son, all that kind of shit. I'm like, all right, don't worry. And all of a sudden, the turn of 2022, I went on some ridiculous streak. And I think that's mostly due to Mo Salah being my captain.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I put him as triple captain one game and he scored a couple and got an assist. So, yeah, it's I owe him. And to be fair, I think Rodri took his eye off the ball as well, in all fairness. But this season, I'm gonna really go balls deep with this. I've changed my team so many times, and even today, I had my team set up. I was ready. I'm like, right, this is my team. And then lo and behold, Anthony Martial picks up an injury, and it looks like he's going to be out of the Brighton game. So I've had to change that. Now, shall we talk about our teams, or shall we talk about players and the prices first?
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Right, I'll tell you what. Let's start with your team then, right? Because you're the better out of the two, so I'm not gonna start mocking you.
This is like my fourth or fifth draft. I've changed it so many times. This team, there's only 3 or 4 people still in this team that were there when I first
right.
When I first did it. So even this week, because Kasper Schmeichel's, well, when I heard he was going, because I heard a few weeks ago that he was going to Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I heard this week that it looks like they're going to do it, and it was for peanuts, I don't know whether he had a year left on his contract or whatever. I've put Danny Ward in because I rated Ward back when he was a Liverpool player, and I didn't know why he didn't get more of a chance when Mignolet and Karius were doing absolute nonsense in goal for us. So at 4 million, unless they buy a keeper before the window closes, I'm cool with Ward. David Raya I like because Brentford did get a good amount of clean sheets last season, considering when they came in the table, and he made some saves. I usually have 3 Liverpool men in my team, being a Liverpool fan, but because Jota got injured a few weeks ago, I replenished half of the squad, and then I got Harry Kane in up top. But yeah, always I have Robbo or Trent. I'm going to go with Robbo because I think they'll get around the same amount of assists, and that 0.5 million is massive in regards to what's there. Perisic is there, but I'm probably going to downgrade him because the way Conte's talking in riddles, I think he will play a lot of the games, but I don't know if he'll start against Southampton. So therefore, I might go for his teammate in Matt Doherty, or I may go for Matty Cash, but someone cheaper. Because as you can see there, my budget left, I've got 2.5 million there. I want to have at least 2.5 or maybe 3. So if anything goes wrong in the first week or two, I know I've got put money there to get a differential in, just in case, once I see what lineups managers are going with.
Before you carry on, I'm still fairly new to this, even though I've been doing this for God knows how many years. The terminology changes all the time. What the fuck is a differential?
Someone who's got is owned by a low percentage of people.
What difference does that make?
Huh? Because then only you and that small percentage of people that own them are going to get the points. Because you know what I'm saying. So at the moment, like for instance, because we're both in the head-to-head league, I think it's 74% of people have got Gabriel Jesus in their team. So if he does well, people like me and you, because you haven't got him, have you?
I do.
Jesus. Oh, you got Jesus. Okay, so there you go. So if I was to play you and Jesus does well, I'm screwed. You see it? Because obviously I'd be one of the small percentage of people that's what happened. So
Okay.
the head-to-head differentials are very, very, very important. Because a lot of the time, once you get to a certain point in the season, you're going to see Salah, Haaland, you're going to see the same people in everybody's team that you look at. So at the moment, that's going to be the case with Jesus. I bet I'm probably out of the 20 man in the Justice League, I'm probably the only man that doesn't have Jesus in out of all the 20. Um, but I don't pick Arsenal players. So there you go. So for anyone that's not heard me talk on FBL before, I don't pick Arsenal, Man United, or Chelsea players. It used to be City as well, but that changed. I don't really pick Everton people either. In fact, last season I didn't have any Everton people, but for the last 3 games of the season, just for the sake of head-to-head purposes, I got Richarlison in, and he returned in 2 of those 3 weeks because he didn't play in the final game against Arsenal. So don't really pick. So you might as well say that's a quarter of the league. You might as well say that I don't pick people from. But you may see a City player in there with the obviously the amount I've got in my budget left over. We'll see. But yeah, I Nori. I like Wolves' start to the season, so he's in. Pontus Janssen, because as I spoke about Brentford getting clean sheets, and he got at least I think he got like 4 goals last season. So he's a threat in the air. They play Leicester first game of the season, and Leicester are dreadful at defending set pieces. So that is why Janssen's in my team and he's going to start that first game. Nico Williams, I would think because they paid like 17 million for him or 16 million, he's going to be the first choice right back at Forest, even though they've got some other fullbacks in. The man got from Huddersfield is a left back. They got Omar Richards in as well from Bayern Munich, but I would expect Nico Williams to be the starting right back, so he's in. Salah, obvious, like high scorer in FPL for God knows. I would think all but one, if not every season he's been in the Premier League since he came in 2017, since he came back rather after that little burst at Chelsea, since he came back, high scorer. As I said, I like Wolves' fixtures. Pedro Neto, I'm a big fan of, so only 5.5 million had to go with him. I wanted Jared Bowen, but 8.5 million was a bit tight to get. So got Coutinho in there. I think he's good price at 7 million. And I like the fixtures Villa have got to start the season. I think even if they don't win, they'll get goals. James Maddison, I'm a huge fan of. Great GNA return. Stuart Armstrong, I've got him in because listening to Ralph Husson, who will talk pre-season, he's been using Armstrong behind the striker. And Stuart Armstrong likes to shoot a lot. So 5 million, I think he'd be a very good enabler that I can drop in when I think Southampton have got a good fixture. Up top, I had to start with Callum Wilson. If he's fit, I think his movement and whatnot good. If he's up top with Chris Wood, I think the flick-ons that Wood will get will put him through. Even if Wood isn't there, I think there are chances that could be created for him by the likes of St. Maximin and Almiron. So I've gone with Callum Wilson because I think Newcastle got some decent fixtures, apart from when they play us, of course. Kane had to, because I had to have a Tottenham guy up there. Son, because he was top scorer in the Premier League last season, cost 12 million this time round. That's a bit steep for me, as I've got Salah, because if I was to have Salah and I was to have Son, that's a quarter of my budget gone on 2 people. So no Son as of yet, even though every season I've played this, I've had Son. So this is a bit like, I mean, different waters, that I'm going into here. And then Brendan Johnson, son, of course, of you lot's former player, David Johnson, got him in because he got a truckload of, he got a plethora of goals and assists last season in the Championship. And looking at Forest's fixtures, even if they don't win, he's going to start. And I think that there's some GNA in there from him. So that's my team at the moment. Before the deadline, what's the deadline? 6:30 tomorrow? 6:30 Friday. Might be maybe 1 or 2 changes, but that's more or less how my team's going to look, and then make sure I've got a decent amount in the bank for changes, just in case the first couple of weeks go horribly wrong.
Do you know? I think you've been very, I'd say, astute with your selections. I wouldn't have gone for Madison purely because of the fact that I believe that Leicester are going to really struggle this season. But then again, he's going to be undoubtedly one of their standout players. I wouldn't have gone with Coutinho because I've always believed that he's too inconsistent. But then again, looking at the squad that Gerrard has assembled at the moment, bringing in the fella from Sevilla at the back is going to make them better defensively.
But he's a nutcase, though. Carlos, he's gonna get yellows. Otherwise, I would have looked to get him in. The yellow cards are too much, man. Even at Nori gets a lot of yellows, and Janssen does sometimes too. So
yeah, but then you gone for Johnson up front. Do you anticipate him having a similar debut season like Tony did last?
Who, Brendan Johnson?
Yeah.
I think some people have got Forest to go down, and usually if I was to do a season preview like I did with Fulham a few seasons ago, I would say that they've bought too many people. They're even in talks at the moment to get someone, so I think that will be their 12th or 13th signing. So obviously you can only put 11 people on the pitch. But saying that they've got 2 keepers they've brought in now, with Samba going back to go play in France. Dean Henderson will be the number 1. He might be an option in goal. So usually when teams have made a bag of signings, I would say that it's too many. They would struggle. But I actually think Forest are going to stay up. So I think he will be pivotal in terms of getting goals and assists for them. 6 million means I can downgrade. A player I had in my team but I took out was Dennis Undav at Brighton. Because I don't think he'll start the season. I think they'll go with Welbeck. But I think as the season gradually progresses, Undav will come in and he's a finisher. They brought him from Union St. Gulliers in Belgium, who won the regular Belgium season, but then they do the playoffs and they didn't. And then I think they came second. He gets goals, Turkish international. He gets goals. He's only at 5.5 million. Don't be surprised if you see him back in my team. But
again, this is because it's early days. You can't sit there and say, "Yeah, I'm going to stick with this team for the remainder of the season." I think that's a mistake that I made last, in the sense that I obviously waited until it was time to make those the wild card changes.
Yeah.
But I thought, let me trust these players, because I always read on social media, trust your squad, trust this, trust that. But then after the first 3 or 4 weeks, certain players ain't getting the points you'd like them to, or even expect them to. Then it's like, shit, I made a mistake bringing them in.
Here's the thing. This is what I was saying to you. Obviously, because of the premium players that you had in last season when we were doing it, so you had guys you were picking some of your team players that you know that are going to start. So you had like the Allens and the Fabinhos and whatnot, because you know that they're going to start for their clubs. Even though Allen did actually lose his place at the stage for Everton last season. So you got people in there that you know that you're going to start, but they're not necessarily going to get you the points. That's why that bracket of midfielders, the 5 millions and under, are priced at that, because they call them enablers, isn't it? Because they're the steady players. So on the football pitch, they might be the best player on the pitch in terms of breaking up play, keeping the recycling possession, but that doesn't necessarily get you FPL. That doesn't necessarily get you fantasy points.
Yeah.
Whereas some people are bonus magnets in terms of, and it might just be because of completing passes or whatever, but then some of those people get bookings as well. And if you get a booking in FPL, then obviously that limits your chance of being in the bonus point system, unless you get maybe at least 2 goal contributions or something like that. So we'll see. So we'll see how it goes. But it's gonna be a very interesting season, and someone who looks like they've taken the biggest gambles, that might be the way forward for them, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll bring you up my team. And again, I've changed it about 15 times, and I still don't know if I'm going to make any more changes tomorrow.
That's probably
is what I've got.
This is where it comes into it. You've got to keep your open for the press conference, the press
Absolutely.
conferences and whatnot, because
There you
you're
go.
going to find some stuff. Then you're going to get some people that mislead you on social media that say this player's out, that player's out. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
true, sometimes it's not. They're calling you bluff. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So my original squad, I had Allison instead of Edison,
yeah,
and Cancelo instead of Robertson. And obviously, I made a few switches before. I can't remember exactly. As I said, I made so many changes. I can't tell you, but I could tell you now. Robertson is coming for Cancelo, and Edison has come in for Allison.
Allison, yeah.
And the more I think about it, it makes perfect sense because, all right, I'm not saying that Edison's going to play more games than Allison, but it looks likely because I don't even know who City's number 2 is. I really don't know who that is. So
Well, this is the
unless
thing. Allison's touch and go for Fulham. He's back in
is
training.
he?
I would expect
Yeah,
him to start, but
yeah,
he's back in training. That's why Adrian was in goal for the Community Shield. And
right,
Kelleher, second keeper, is injured as well. So it's either going to be
right,
Allison or Adrian in goal. Um, if there is anything, it's still niggling with Allison. I don't think he'll be risked given the fact we've got the likes of Man United so early in the season. So you couldn't. So even if you did have Allison, touch and go whether he would be starting that first game of the
yeah,
season anyway.
yeah. My number 2, I had to put in Forster, and that's purely on the basis that I get the feeling he's going to play a few games this season. Don't get me wrong, Lloris is definitely Tottenham's number 1.
You,
He's their
you heard
captain,
you heard
isn't
my
he?
hot take on the show, yeah, on the Footy on Top
So,
show.
no,
Yeah,
I haven't heard it yet.
never
I haven't
heard.
heard that show yet.
Oh,
No, I
oh
haven't.
no, I've said it on two. I've said it on one I knew that you definitely listened at the time. My hot take for the season is one of my 3 main hot takes for the season is that I think Forster will displace um Thing as the number 1 keeper,
Lloris, yeah.
Lloris. So even
Okay.
Forster might come into at only 4 mil. Forster may come in. I'm not sure about having 2 4 million keepers because Ward as well, but that would give me, if I took him out, another half a mil from Raya. That would allow me to upgrade Brennan Johnson to Nunes
Right. Yeah, it makes
or
sense.
Vardy or someone. So I'll see. I'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think as you said, he'll definitely get some games anyway. Like
Yeah.
maybe against teams that are in the low half of the table of the season, but I think he could displace him because as good as Hugo Lloris has been over the years, and don't get us still, he's still a very good shot stopper. He does too many random things. He's not as assured in collecting crosses
Yeah.
as he used to be.
And
Punching the
Forster
ball
is
into
like 8 foot tall as well.
Force to take up the whole damn goal, man. That guy's playing the wrong sport. He should be in the NBA, mate.
Yeah, okay.
He's at least
Right.
6'7".
So I went with Robertson over Cancelo, and Pep Roulette had a massive say in my decision. He had a massive say in my decision with other players as well. And I can't trust Guardiola to play anyone else but Edison for 38 games a season, right? So Robertson, obviously, Tsimikas is going to be another player that's going to come in from time to time. But I think for the majority of this half of the season anyway, until the World Cup, Robertson is going to be a starter.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I don't think Scotland are in the World Cup, are they? So he's going to have a rest, and he'll probably play the remainder of the second half of the season. Trent, I think, is a no-brainer, especially with Nunes in the team now. For crying out loud, the amount of balls he's going to whip in the box, free kicks, set pieces, you name it, at 7.5 million, I think that's a great price. Williams,
It's savagely expensive for a defender, but he gives you midfielder. Him, Robertson, Cancelo, Reece James when fit. They give you returns of midfielders, so that's fine having them as premiums at the back. But even as you've said Nunes, Jota is one of the best headers
of the ball,
of the ball in the Premier League for his height.
Yep.
When you go pound for pound, so yeah, Trent and Robbo, they're gonna Leighton Baines, I think, is 3 or 4 assists ahead of Robertson, and then Trent's 2 behind Robertson for the all-time assist
All
record
right.
for defenders in the Premier League. Robertson and Trent will probably both pass Leighton Baines by before Christmas. or
Yeah, I
before
can
the
see
World Cup, rather, because the World Cup's before Christmas. They should, unless something goes wrong, be at least level with Baines by the World Cup, and then
Yep,
sheer minimum January overtake him. You know.
yep. Well, putting Williams today over Vestergaard. That for me again. I was umming and ahhing about either one of them, but I think Williams is going to obviously play more games, as you mentioned. They spent big money on him, so why not? Zinchenko again for me. That I tell you what, if he was at City, I wouldn't have touched him. But the fact that he's joined Arsenal, chances are he'll be the first choice left back because Tierney is very, very unreliable when it comes to fitness. And also Zinchenko could play central midfield. He could play as a number 10.
That's what I'm saying. Midfield's his natural position. He's a really good player. You don't see it sometimes with City because he's given certain duties if he does have to play left back. But he's a really good player. When he plays midfield for Ukraine, he's on madness.
And captain as well, captain for the national team. So, and he's had a good pre-season, so I think he's all set. And for me, Perisic, I've always had a soft spot for him. Quality. And at 5.5 million, he'll probably play left wing back. A lot of people are saying, well, it's going to be either him or Sessegnon. Listen, Conte ain't going to bring in Perisic to sit on the bench for 38 games a season.
Oh, no, of course, but it's just fitness at the moment. Why?
No, he's good. He's good to go. He's good to go.
To take him out.
Listen, I was speaking to a friend of his yesterday because Perisic's missus has just had a kid. They've had their second child. See, I know these things because I know these people. But he's ready. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play, and hopefully he'll be around my house in the next few weeks. There you go. Yes, this is still being braggadocious. Yes, I can be a cunt. Right, the midfield was a tricky one for me. I originally went with De Bruyne.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to stick with Salah because how can you not pick Mo Salah? How can you not? For me, it doesn't make sense. You've got to have him. Any FPL fan or player has to have Mo Salah in their team.
Yeah. So
it's a no-brainer. Odegaard, given the captain's armband for Arsenal, guaranteed to play. He'll get assists. He'll get goals. And as I mentioned earlier, with Zinchenko, there, Arsenal are going to be more attack-minded. There's more flair in the team. There's going to be more creativity. And Odegaard, I think, will be very, very successful this season in FPL. Yeah, he's brilliant. Guimaraes, he, back in the last season, was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And at 6 million, that's a steal. I think next season, you're going to be looking at 7-8 million for him, in my opinion. I think he's that good.
Yeah.
And again, with Eddie Howe coming in, he's going to make him more defensively stable. So you've got the clean sheet points as well. The lad will get assists. He'll get goals. All right, he probably will get a few bookings here and there. But, you know, he's a fantastic player. Absolutely fantastic.
D-Man's preparing for that. Him and Joe Linton are going to get bookings galore, mate.
Yeah. There you go.
Taking people out in the midfield.
Dewsbury Hall, he's another one. He's had had a good pre-season. I think Rodgers will rely on him a lot this season. And at 5 million, again, that's a good price. I was going to have Declan Rice in. But you know what? I'm probably going to be completely wrong about this or proved wrong. But I think West Ham might struggle this season. I don't think they're going to be as good as what they were last season. I know they brought Ishkamaka up front, and I know they've improved defensively and also in midfield. But I still get the feeling that they might not be. And look, Rice is a captain. He's going to start. He's guaranteed games. But also there's the yellow card element. Is he going to get you goals as well? Dewsbury Hall is a more attacking player. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I hear that 100%. Right, forward line.
Well, I haven't gone with Alzat as well. I haven't mentioned Alzat. He's another one. 4.5 million. He didn't do great last season. I think he only got like 19 points. But he's been playing a lot of games pre-season. I know Moda's injured at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. He is, isn't he? Oh, yeah, it shows right here.
Yeah.
There you go. unknown return date. So there you go. I'm going to speak to Ben about that. Ben
I
didn't read that.
like Mulder. I like Jacob Mulder. Yeah, I was like,
Good plan.
I've got a feeling you will change as that day. He's a payment.
The thing is, I don't know who I'd put in. I don't know who I'd put in. Maybe
Well,
Murphy.
have you got any money in the bank?
Nah.
But if it look, wait, let me get the app up.
One minute, Chukwuemma's there. He's just joined Chelsea.
This who?
Chukwuemma. This guy.
Right, let me have a look at
4.5 million. Do you know what? I'm going to bring him in. Fuck it. He's joined Chelsea. He's the guy they were making a big fuss about the other day. Bring him in. Fuck it. There you go. Done. Boom. Thank you very much.
No, but do you think he'll start straight away? I think bench. Wait, let's have a look at the 4.5 million price range. Yeah,
Let's go.
Here comes the Dan
transfers.
Tips.
Transfers.
Right.
All right. I forgot him here. Hang about.
4.5 million midfielders.
I'm bringing him up on the screen, bruv. 1 minute.
4.5 mil.
A lot of people have gone for Pereira.
Andreas Pereira, yeah, he's been very popular for people.
But Fulham are going to concede goals this season, bruv.
Yeah, but that only, as a midfielder, that only loses you 1 point. It's when it's your defenders that's going to matter. He could get some attacking returns still. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Andreas Pereira is the most owned. Murphy.
A lot of people have picked Diallo at Southampton.
He's decent. Andre Gomez would be a good one. He's injured at the moment, but Andre Gomez would be a good one. Who else at 4.5 mil would be decent? I'd expect Jay De Silva to get a good amount of games for Brentford.
Mm-hmm. What about Baptiste? He's another one I had in
I'm worried about the book. I'm worried about the bookings though with Baptiste. Who else? It's not a Savage.
Cole Palmer won't play that many games.
Milivojevic 4.5 mil. A few seasons ago, that would have been a steal. That guy was banging penalties in for fun. Right? Doesn't really get a game now.
Colback will play for Forest. He will play.
Yeah,
for
Jack
sure.
Colback could be a good, and he plays midfield and if needed plays defence for them as well. Shouldn't be needed now him to be used in defence with the signings. So, but yeah,
Josh Onoma will play for Fulham. Josh Onoma will play for Fulham.
They had your boy on loan last season, but he's come back to what's his name? The centre mid.
Ghana.
Yeah, James Garner. Yeah. And he did well for Forest. So yeah, you expect Colback start midfield.
The thing is, with the injuries that United have with Sancho and Martial, is there a chance that Ahmad might get a chance or Pelestri? Let's talk about Garnacho's. Garnacho might be in the squad, but is he even on this game?
I don't even know if he's on the game. But yeah, Ahmad maybe. Sarr at Tottenham maybe. Sarabento played a couple of times for Brighton. Sanson surely will get more time at Villa this season. Lokonga is probably going to get a decent amount of games for Arsenal. Otherwise, they would have loaned him.
Oh, look at this. Garnacho isn't there, bruv.
Samaria, Leicester.
Garnacho isn't on this. He's not on this.
Winks. Harry Winks, I've got a feeling, will go to Everton, and if he does, he will get game time.
He'll get games, 100%. 100%. Well, yeah. Anyway, but anyway, I think we'll review it. I think we'll review
nothing. You get me? Nothing outrageous in the 4.5 million.
So you reckon the safe bet will be Pereira then?
That's why it's 4.5 mil. So that you could Andreas. You could go as Andreas Pereira. You could do. Because
the money they spent on him,
is for him to go straight in. And Marco Silva plays an attacking style of play anyway, which I think is what people are looking at. So I'm saying that though I don't know if Fulham will stay up, Pereira, Mitrovic, Harry Wilson when he's fit,
these
guys are going to get returns.
Yeah. All right, let me go with the front guys then. So for me, Jesus, for me, is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
He's been firing on all cylinders since joining Arsenal, scoring goals in the Emirates Cup, scoring goals pre-season against Chelsea. As I mentioned before, Odegaard, Zinchenko, Arsenal going to be much more expansive. And I think the one thing that Arsenal lacked most last season, forget the clean sheets, it was having someone in the box that could put the ball in the back of the net. Aubameyang was terrible, and Ketia was scoring goals at the back end of the season. But I think Jesus is obviously going to be their number one striker now. There's no way they're going to buy him from Man City and choose Nketiah up front over him. So for me, and for many people, that was a no-brainer, especially for 8 million. The next one was Harry Kane. Now, it was either Kane or Haaland. I had Haaland in the team originally.
Yeah.
But then I looked at the opening day and I thought, Man City always struggle at West Ham. And we saw last season how difficult it was for West Ham playing three at the back. Is Haaland going to get as many opportunities against West Ham than Harry Kane will against Southampton? And here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that Harry Kane is going to hit the ground running this season, especially after the preseason that Spurs had. Not based on their results and the performances, but based on the fucking training regimen that Antonio Conte has brought in.
He's killing them, man. If there's one team that's going to be ready, it's going to be them. Well, saying that,
100%.
Klopp kills us lot. I say us lot like I'm a player. Kills our players in pre-season, which is why obviously we were gassed that Nunes banged in 4 against Leipzig, but that's why we're not too good. A lot of people aren't concerned with pre-season results, unless you're Arsenal right about now. But he kills them in pre-season, so we know they're going to be a bit leggy. So we're more looking for patterns of play to see whether or not they're going to be ready for the new season or not, because we got beat 3-0 or 4-0 by Napoli in pre-season before the 1920 season. Everyone freaked out. We went and won the league. So but yeah, Kane's not sulking this season to start it like he was last season. And still, though he started poorly because he was sulking, he still went on to get a good amount of goals. So therefore, well, I say good amount of goals, an all right amount of goals. For him, it's not good enough because this is a multiple-time golden boot winner. But I think him starting the season with a manager a world-class manager in charge in Conte, though he needs to do something in Europe this season. But he's been winning leagues, so you can't begrudge that on a domestic level. Him not sulking, and especially when Perisic is starting war, you know what he can do. The space Kane's going to open up for others, and it'll be interesting when Richarlison does get fit, how that will work, because they could be foreign to each other. I think Kane's going to be, it might be if he stays fit, a decent shout for the Golden Boot.
Do you think that the great season that Son had last season has actually helped Harry Kane? And the reason why I ask is because, as you mentioned, he didn't have the prolific season that we used to see with Harry Kane last year. Son took that mantle. Now Son is the guy at Spurs. There's no two ways about it. Harry Kane is obviously up there, but Son just about edges it. So is Son now seen as more as the danger man than Kane, which will then mean that perhaps defenders might take their eye off Kane a little bit and focus more on Son? I'm just thinking from a psychological perspective here.
Possibly, but the thing with Kane as well is that he's not just a goal scoring, it's the playmaking ability as well. So he can hit Son. Those two go together. Like I've run a joke on the Footy on Top show where I was saying, they're like the 90s Utah Jazz, Stockton and Malone pick and roll, because
you might as well be talking Japanese. I don't understand what you're talking about, man. Honestly,
they just anyone our age that's watching now that watches basketball will know it.
Can you make a what's it called, a WWE reference instead? Would that be better? Would that be like a attitude era kind of?
What's a great tag team that play? Well, obviously you've got the Usos now. They're great in terms of their link up. Well, they're brothers in it, so I suppose obviously that would be obvious. But I'll tell you this: Miz and Morrison Yeah, when they were together, used to do some crazy moves as a
Okay.
tag team. But anyway, both of that, right? But Kane is an assist threat as well, and obviously in FPL you get the fantasy assists if you have the last touch or last shot or whatever, and someone scores. So
And he
yeah,
takes penalties as well, doesn't he?
yeah, exactly. Kane or
And
Son is not going
Spurs
to.
they're looking very attack minded this season
Yeah,
with the signings that they've made. So
they should be if they beat up the rest of the league and then put the men behind the ball against the bigger teams. They'll be. I mean, it will work for them because they've got weapons there. And Richarlison, when he's not rolling about on the floor being an idiot, is another weapon, regardless of how much he's cost. So I don't. I don't think people will occupy Son more because look, the reason why I don't think I still think Son will get at least 15, 16 league goals. But the reason why I don't think he's going to get 20 plus like last season is his goal to shot ratio. I've never seen anything like it in terms of someone getting a golden boot. Usually the person that get a golden boot, you can see them have well over 100 shots.
yeah,
He only had like, I think it was between 70 and 80 shots last season. That's ridiculous.
okay,
That's not going to happen again. So, shots on target. That's not going to happen again this season, where someone is like 1 in 3 in regards to their shots, or 1 in 3.5 or whatever. That's insane. Usually, it's about 5 a game in regards to shots or whatever. So I don't think he's going to be as clinical, but. And partly is because of what you were asking, because he likelihood is that though he gets a lot of attention anyway, he's going to get more attention. It will take some corners sometimes, depending on what Tottenham players are on the pitch and whatnot. But Kane can score anyway, regardless anyway,
right,
no matter how many defenders are there. And he's crafty. He's going to win penalties that, in essence, are not actual penalties, but he's going to back into defenders. He's going to, if he feels a little tap, he's going to go down or whatever. He's crafty, win some free kicks as well. He's crafty, so he's going to get goals.
yeah,
Regardless of how much attention defenders are going to give him,
yeah. And finally, I got Tony up front, and he's only come in because Martial has allegedly got a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to put him out for. Now, I haven't been the biggest Martial fan, as you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Never
But
thought so.
what I did say on the last pod we did together, I think with Ten Hag coming in, the style of play that he likes, Martial will fit into that perfect. And again, he's had a great preseason. All right, he hasn't been a marksman, he hasn't been a killer, but I think that will come in time. And then for him to get his hamstring injury, especially just before the season starts, that's a killer. But Tony at 7 million, I think again he's going to be a threat. My main concern: where is the creativity going to come from at Brentford now that Eriksen has gone?
Exactly.
That's my main concern. So if we're talking about £7 million players, let's have a look at the £7 million strikers, because if I want to make a change here, the other thing is, mate, they're playing Leicester on the opening day.
Yeah.
So I think he's a good player.
Tony probably bags them against Leicester.
Well, Danny Ings is there at 7 million. Who Villa got on the opening day?
I like Villa's start to the season, so I'm actually strongly considering Ings or Watkins, but I don't know if Gerald's going to start with both or just one. But they're both perfectly capable of scoring off the bench anyway. They're both industrious, but he seems to prefer to play Watkins. But Ings' industry and guile, I think, is more likely to get goals than Watkins, because sometimes Watkins will go out wide, like really wide, and put it like, we need you in the box because he can get headers and whatnot as well. So, but yeah, I would strongly consider Villa, because even I don't know if they're going to keep the goals out, they're going to score goals.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've always had a thing about Serbian strikers, and my gut feeling has been telling me to put Mitrovic in this bloody team. My gut feeling is telling me select him at 6.5 million. I know they got Liverpool on the opening
That's
day.
what I was going to say. If it wasn't Liverpool, he'd have higher ownership because people are
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, he started off to see their last season in the Premier League good, and then he faded." But this guy, Championship cold, international level cold, is going to come good in the Premier League. Just hopefully not against Liverpool on Saturday. But Mitrovic is going to get goals, and I'm strongly considering if they were put it this way: if they were not playing Liverpool first game in the season, Mitrovic would be in my team.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think he's watching, but if he is, in fact, I'm probably going to clip this and put it on Instagram. If you're watching Marko Shepovic, last season you had your FPL team, and this season you haven't done it, and you should be doing it because your friend who you were at Partizan's Academy with is in the league with Fulham. Brate, you should be playing your team this season just to have Mitrovic in. Yeah? Have all of your Balkan friends there. Have Perisic in there as well. Have a whole team full of Balkans. Do you know what? I might even create a new team with a different email account with as many Balkan players or Eastern European players as possible. The thing is, there's no...
Me and my friend.
Are there any Serbian goalkeepers or Bosnian goalkeepers or Croatian in the Prem? I don't think there are there?
Me and I don't think so. That starters don't believe so. But me and my friend are looking in making a team of just enablers, basically, predominantly with enablers. So I think the highest we agreed, we can't pick anyone over 7.5 or 8 million. So it's going to be dominated by a name. There's going to be a truckload of money in the bank, and just see how many points that they can actually get. Because the guy, I think he got done for racism a couple seasons ago, but the guy that won FPL a few seasons ago had a team, and there was no one in his team over 8.5 or 8 million, and he won.
Right, okay.
So that goes to show you that if you pick right, but this is the thing with now you've got all these people that look into certain stats and whatnot. I just look at the games and pick. I don't really do all this percentage and whatnot, and these people that look into XG and whatnot. I don't do those things. I just pick it.
Well, you've got Begovic, who's Bosnian. You've got Dubravka, who's Slovakian.
He's still at Bournemouth, yeah? Begovic.
No, he's at Everton.
No, he's at Everton now, isn't it? Yeah. So obviously Pickford. I was thinking, Bournemouth is going to Travis goal.
Yeah. You got Sarkic, who's the Montenegrin goalkeeper at Wolves.
Yeah, but
yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like, if I was to make like a Balkan 11, or a Balkan squad,
then it could run. Yeah.
Strakosha, where's he from? He's from Thomas Strakosha. He was born in Greece. Oh, fucking hell. Albanian, though. Born in Greece. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, interesting. Well, what about defense? What Balkan defenders have we got? Okay. Well, Perisic is one. What are you doing? What's that scratching noise?
Scratching noise?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. You can see.
Where's your mic?
Huh?
Where's your mic?
My mic?
Yeah. It's rubbing against your hoodie. That's why.
Down here, but it's been fine though. Because obviously my right ear can't work. Because this is on the right ear. My right ear is out of action. I'll leave it here.
You keep making all this noise. Stop making noise.
Even it's sitting here, I don't know how it can make that much noise. I'm sitting here talking, I'm not even doing anything. Come on.
All right, okay, I'll tell you what. So we've done both of our squads, yeah? Right? So if you want to talk about value for money, right? If I was to say to you, can you give me, I don't know, one player from each position under 6 million that you'd say, yeah, I'd have him in my team, or I think he's gonna have a great season? Can you think of many?
Goalkeeper, obviously, because I've got him. Ward, because unless Leicester buy a goalkeeper tomorrow, Ward is going to start against Brentford. £4 million because they thought he'd be the backup to Schmeichel. So I'd say Danny Ward, and obviously Forster, because as I said, I think he'll take Loris out of the team eventually. Defense, there's a few. Arsenal, I think Gabriel is at a decent price in
What about
defense.
Cucurella though?
Um,
Cucurella?
it, yeah, Cucurella was 5 million, is he?
Yeah.
Isn't he? Or has he got up to 5.5? Yeah,
No,
Cucurella,
it's 5 million.
whatever team he's at, good value. Tariq Lamptey, I'm a big fan of. Carl Walker at 5 million could be a steal because
What about Share at 4.5? He was getting goals last season.
Fabian Schär, decent
Mm.
one. Botman is only 4.5, isn't he? That could be. You don't spend that much on a defender, they're not going to play. Botman will probably get one or two for set pieces as well, and he's good. He's a ball playing centre half, just like Fabian Schär is. So Botman with defenders, they're always going to be the cheapest. So you can. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of good ones there. I've got Ait Nori. I think he'll be a good one. It all depends. Vestergaard's only at 4 million, obviously because of his score last season. He didn't play that much. If Yannick Vestergaard gets a couple games, he's a set piece threat. He's going to knock the ball down. He can score from set pieces, knock the ball down and whatnot. And he's another centre half that is not bad at passing as well. So with defenders, there's a lot of defenders that could be. There's numerous options for people that could do something in terms of defenders. And then obviously Nico Williams now at 4 million, you're starting. It looks like you're going to be the starting right back for Forest. So there's options. There's really good options defence. Midfield, we're talking about. Sorry, go on.
I was going to mention Fofana as well at Leicester, 4.5 million. I know he had a serious injury last season, but Chelsea are looking at him at the moment. And if that goes through,
Yeah,
then
he's
chances
very
are.
good. We'll see for Fana. James Justin at Leicester, another one. Season before last, he was outstanding before he got injured. So yeah, there's lots of defend. You could actually have a decent defense without having any premium defenders. If you think of the likes of Walker being only 5 million. Midfield, you said Bruno. He's obviously gone up because of how spectacular he was. Gramarish, how spectacular he was in that half a season as he came in January.
Are you surprised Kovacic is only at 5 million? I know he only got 76 points last season, but are you surprised that?
Yeah, but Kovacic had injuries, so that was still a decent return. But Kovacic is a really, really good player. So he could definitely, you could say he's a steal at his price. Harry Wilson, when he gets fit, is 6 million. He's gonna be on set pieces when he gets fit for Fulham. So there's Pedro Neto. Obviously, is in my team, so I'm going to say him at 5.5. Take set pieces, rasping left foot. As long as he doesn't get injured again, he's going to get points.
What about Bailey? Bailey at
Definitely
Villa.
at 5 million. I'm looking
at not Darren.
I'm looking at Leon Bailey.
Yeah,
£5 million. And I'm hearing, not that I've seen any of their preseason games, but I'm hearing he's had a good preseason thus far.
he did all right.
So if he's going to start, that could be a steal. And he's another one. He can shoot off both feet, left and right foot. He can shoot with power. That could be another steal right there. You know, Bailey. Let's have a look at who else is available under £6 million. Ben Rama, 6 million.
Yep.
So could do okay. Some may say that's pricey, but Jack Harrison, 6 million. Jack Harrison, with no Rafinha, they're going to depend on him, right?
Yeah.
And I think Aronson's only 5.5 million, the American guy that they got in. Huang's a midfielder now rather than a forward. 6 million. I'm a Huang fan. Joe Linton, obviously the position he plays, I don't know if he's necessarily going to get the goals you desire, but if fully fit, he's going to play. Lingard, 6 mil. Jorginho 6 million seems steep, but because he's their penalty taker, Chelsea got a bag of penalties last season.
Are we forgetting Dennis Pratt here? Are we forgetting him? Because again, I
thought
think
they were going to sell him. He's come back
well,
from loan, obviously, from was it Torino? I thought Dennis Pratt had been sold.
I don't know. As far as I'm aware, he's still there. What about Llorente? Oh wait, no, he's a centre back. What am I talking about? He's a centre back. What am I talking about? Fuck's sake, Stel, wake up! Wake up, Stel. Wake
So
up.
yeah, 5 million because Pratt's a good player. I thought I know he was on loan last season. I thought that they'd sold him, but okay, 5 mil could be interesting.
I don't think we can rule out Moutinho either. I don't think we can rule him out. I don't think even John Joe Shelvey. I know he's injured at the moment, but Shelvey could be a good one.
Yeah, Moutinho on set pieces, some of the set pieces when he plays, so could see something there. Joe Willock 5 million could be a still box to box mid. Willock, I would definitely say could be value at £5 million. I say pounds like it's real money at 5 million. Options you'd expect Paulinho, though he's more holding more in terms of FPL, so I could get points. The money Fulham spent, you're going to expect him to start games. Ndidi might be a decent one at 5 million as well.
I think the injuries. I think it's the injuries that let him down. The injuries let him down.
Different options, but Kovacic at 5 million could be a real steal. God, that's Harvey Elliott 5 million. Harvey Elliott's going to get game time for Liverpool this season. Wicked left foot, so that could be someone that you can put in your team, and you wouldn't be afraid to bench in certain weeks, and it will give you budget to replenish other areas of your squad. I like Douglas Lewis at 5 mil, but the bookings, man.
Yellow cards. It's the yellow cards.
They
kill you. They kill you. Well, okay, what about forwards then? Let's go with 6 million for forwards as the benchmark. And you got Mbemo at Brentford, Broha, who's at Chelsea at 5.5, Wood at 6 million, Edouard at 5.5, Daka at 6, Mateta at 5.5.
Patson Daka, out of that lot, my favourite would be Patson Daka. I can't believe he's only 6 million. Patson Daka would be my pick out of those. But
Bro, I'll tell you what, there's one player at 4.5 million who I'm so tempted to put in, and that's Cameron Archer at Villa. He was at Preston last season on loan, and he absolutely ripped it to pieces.
Yeah, and
he scored a lot of goals. He did well in the League Cup. He scored against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And I think, all right, bias aside, because I know the guy, if he gets his opportunities this season, I think he will surprise a lot of people.
The Brighton options, and Cecil is spoken about a lot in the football realms, you know.
Yeah, bruv, do you know what though? You say that, but I saw some of these clips that they put, like Brighton did this video montage of him like doing one-touch shooting, and his first touch is atrocious, man. This is in training, bruv. In training. And I know like he's Paraguayan and Roberto Rojas might get on my back now about it, but it is what it is. But seeing that first touch, I was like, Jesus, like that's terrible. That's terrible.
With them bringing in Dwight McNeil and with Damari Gray being there, and Everton have got Vinagre in, that was at Wolves a couple seasons ago. When fit, Rondon with this 5 subs, and obviously Calvert-Lewin's injured at the moment anyway. When Rondon finally gets fit, 5 million, boy.
Well, this is another thing that we didn't even touch on, the 5 substitutes. Because that's effectively half a fucking team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm saying at the start. Yeah, exactly. This is why like people will get me. Undav, I spoke about 5.5 million. I think he could do some damage. Mateta, 5.5 million. It seems like Mateta is ahead of Edouard at the moment. Obviously, it's a new season. We'll see. Palace fans would be able to tell me obviously in regards to what's been going on pre-season, because I've not got knowledge of the pre-season games, but Mateta, 5.5 million, decent price. Edwin as well. Gelhart, with Rafinha on, Leeds are going to be dependent on these guys more, man. Alan Armstrong, with the fact Broha's not there this season, Alan Armstrong is surely going to play more for Adam Armstrong. I'm thinking of that. That was the old guy that was a Blackburn. Right. Yeah, Adam Armstrong, you'd expect to. He's had a season in Prem. He's seen how defenders play against him. You get me? He could have a breakout season. But yeah, then it goes to Wood. Solanke's going to start week in, week out for Bournemouth. So why not?
Signed a new contract as well, I think.
New contract signed as well. Yeah. Threat in the air. There's people. Look, he's only owned by 1.4%. So, wait, let me look at Bournemouth's games. They got Villa, City. Oh, their games are ugly. Yeah. Okay. after they play Villa first, City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Once they've got that out of the way, then I can look at him, because then they play Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford, Leicester. He don't be surprised if he's in my team after they play Liverpool, because he's going to start week in, week out. Scott Parker's going to build that around him. He's going to select you. I think he's got it in him to get double figure. I think he can get 10 Premier League goals.
Yeah. I'm looking at Brentford's fixtures. They've got Leicester, Man United, Fulham, Everton, Palace, and Leeds. That doesn't look too shabby for them.
That's why I've got all the Madders in, and that's why I'm considering Vardy. I might go down in other positions and then get Vardy, because Vardy always starts the season well. Then he starts to get rested in injuries, etc. But because look at his age, but yeah, because and the penalties and that as well. Like, yeah, I might, and he's not. Vardy's not really owned by many, so I'm seriously considering that. He's owned by 5%, 5%. A proven goal scorer. Come on, man.
Oh. All right. Well, one more question before we wrap it up, because we've gone on for just over an hour.
Yeah.
How many points did you get last season?
2,415. I literally, while I was finding the page for you to go on the website, I literally just looked.
So how many points will you be happy with this season?
Around the same, but I'll say a minimum.
Even with the 5 subs?
I'll go. Yeah, but to an extent, it's the gift and the curse, isn't it? Because that means some of your main people you're dependent on are going to get dragged more than they would usually. Just say a team you support's winning 3-0 or 3-1, whatever. If they've got a European game coming up, that player that before they couldn't take off because they used their 3 subs, he's going to get dragged for the last 10 minutes to make sure he doesn't get injured. Yeah. And sometimes that's the last 10, 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes that's the time that players strike. So I'll be content if I get over 2,350 again.
Okay.
So that's about 60 less than last season. Obviously, I want to beat last season's score because my score's got better each season that I've played, because I've taken it more seriously, basically. And actually, I've read the rules more season by season. You start off and then you leave it, and then you can make some schoolboy errors. So yeah. Because I think that meant last season I averaged about 63.5 a game. So as long as I'm averaging over 60, then cool.
Lovely. All right. So my tally last season was 1,983. I don't think that's a bad return given how much I didn't focus on certain stages of the season. I'll be happy to get the 2,000 mark, but I think with the players that I've brought in, 2,100 I'll be happy with.
That's what I was going to say. Higher expectations, because you're in it now, and you're going to take it more seriously so you can beat D-Man.
I have to. That is my target from now on. That's my target from now on. Beat D-Man. Jesus. Have you got any leagues where people can join in for free?
No, I haven't actually.
You haven't?
I actually haven't, because League of Gentlemen, which is my classic league, though it's open, it's for people that either I know you properly or were cool on social media with. I don't like putting it out there so that everyone and anyone joins, and then you get like hundreds of people in there. It's about 60 man in there now, and I'm content with that. Obviously, the pay
Just
league
60.
is a locked head-to-head league, and then the Footy Factory League. We're trying to make sure it's got as many people that actually listen to the show as possible, because there was meant to be a prize at the end of it. But then when D-Man put it on the Footy Factory account, half of the people that joined it don't give a monkeys about the Footy Factory. So when we're talking who's top or whatever each week, they don't even know because they've never listened to the show before in their life. So I've actually not got. I may create another one actually, and then I'll put the code up on the page tomorrow when I'm finally content with my team before the season.
Fair
I
enough.
try to do it in the morning actually, which will give people about 10 hours or so before like Arsenal kickoff. Well, that would be the deadline. Would be 6:30. But it
6:30.
doesn't matter anyway. Doesn't matter as long as the league's made. As long as you've already got your team, even if you join later on, it will still take your points tally from the top of the season anyway. As long as I put the scoring like that. So yeah, I'll create a league that anyone can join, and I'll ping that over as I shoot the defense can put that up on
Leaving it a bit late on you?
their page as well, either later today or early Friday morning.
Aren't you leaving it a little bit late?
What for the league?
Yeah.
No, because every time you join, it will take your points tally from the top start of the season anyway. So by the time we do the next FPL war, I'll have the code and whatnot.
Okay, fair enough.
Then
Well, we
anyone
have
can join
two leagues going on. We have the Shooter Defense League. That's the code 1S1LXT. So I'll give you a few seconds to jot that one down. Mind you, you can rewind it or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one is the one I'm going for, the No Choftes League. That is the code if you want to get in. It's a head-to-head league. There's quite a few people in there actually.
Now, see, if it's head-to-head, then they definitely need to join before 6:30 Friday. If that's a head-to-head one.
See, I think how many people have we got in that league? The No Choftes League, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, bloody 30, 31. How many people have got this code? 32, 33, 34, 34. Oh my God, Jesus, there's about 36 people in it.
36 people in the head-to-head league. That's not going to work very well, is it? It's only 38 game weeks. It's not going to work very well.
Fuck. Oh well, don't join.
I told you, people actually search FPL codes on Twitter. So as you put that on Twitter, people in Mongolia or wherever, they're going to join. They don't give two shits about you or interaction or whatever, or care about listening to if you do a podcast or whatever. They just come in because it's another league for them to be on top of so they can boast to their friends about.
Bro, I'll tell you what, the Shooter Defense one, I don't even know how many people are in this one.
That's why I've just said, I thought, you know what? I could promote my league. And I thought, no, I don't want 802 people in my league. I want to maybe people that I know or friends of them that I've spoken to, social media, whatever. And then you get the more tight-knit group and you know what's going on. You get this person from Czechoslovakia top of your league.
Bro, it's mad. Like, if I scroll down the list of names, I have to click next 1, 2, 3, 3 times to get to the final page.
And more people will join because, and that's you on the webpage, not even on the app. So that's got a bigger, a bigger field.
Join.
You know? Right? More people will join because some people, believe it or not, though the deadline is 6:30 tomorrow. So what? From us recording, it's about what? 18 hours.
Jesus.
Right?
Jesus.
18, 19 hours from now. Yeah, just from now. Some people haven't even made their team yet. But how I check it is that I go on the league, my league of gentlemen, and then I look, and then every time I go on there, every say 12 hours on average. There's new names in there. So people have thought, oh, the season starts Friday, and just put their team together. Whereas some of us sort of sit there on like our 5th or 6th draft and we've been toying about with our team for the last 4 weeks. Stress.
Know the feeling, man. Know the feeling now. Right, mate. It's been a very good episode. I'm
Yeah,
very
man.
happy with how it's gone. Hopefully, we'll do this more frequently. I blame myself for last season because I had a lot on, especially with shooting defense and no troughters working out. Before we go, plug your stuff.
Yep, socials on there. At Double D, DUBULDEE, and I am part of the D&D Football Factory, and our at on Insta and Twitter is at DD40Factory _, and we go live on Top FM. That's 95.5 FM in London. If you're out of London, probably best to get the best reception on the TuneIn app or the Simple Radio app, and we go live on Top FM at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. That's me, D-Man, and Big Sam.
There you go. So that's been the first episode of Fantasy Premier League, or FPL War, on Shooting Defense.
Baby.
We'll be back soon, and hopefully we'll be discussing a successful first weekend of points.
I'll be also on top of the Justice League.
Nice one.
And no Choftis and Shoot the Defense.
That's it. Bye.